All right, here we go. Starting off chapter 1 with Sacraments in General is the name of the chapter, where basically I'm going to explain to you in this relatively short chapter the essence of the sacraments, why we have them, why they're important, so on and so forth. That way you have a running knowledge to tackle all 6 or 7 sacraments that we're able to cover after that. So Sacraments in General is the title of the chapter. And the title of today's short lesson is Sacraments as Signs. Sacraments as Signs. All right. So, speaking of signs, let's go to your bell ringer, where you looked at some state signs, including the state bird, brown pelican. Good job. Though it looks white on the flag, I'll have to admit to you. The state boat, it's a pirogue. Raise your hand if you know what a pirogue is. Oh, okay. Yeah, 2 or 3 of you. You want to explain what a pirogue is? Yeah, it's a tree trunk hollowed out. It's a small canoe, probably closer to a kayak. But the Cajuns largely lived off of them, fishing wise and whatnot. So when you see those little boats decorating, Cajun restaurants like Praise Jones, now you know it's a pirogue. All right, the state symbol, fleur de lis. State colors, blue, gold, and white. State cuisine is gumbo. State fish is sakale. Did you get that one right? Just checking. You just look like a fisherman. So we did fish. Now we do state reptile. We got the alligator. And the state drink. Who thinks they got it? Who feels good about their answer? We had a state drink before today. It's milk. It's milk. I probably would have guessed sweet tea too. I probably did guess sweet tea. I took this quiz like 7 years ago and I got everyone wrong, I think. Milk, apparently because when they wrote the Constitution of Louisiana, establishing it as a state, they were all drinking milk. That's what I read in the newspaper where I got this quiz from. So, you learn something new every day. All right, state insect. It's a honeybee. You'd think it'd be the mosquito, but we're trying to be a little bit more positive about it. State songs are all the above. At different times in the history of Louisiana, each one of these songs was named the state song. So I guess we have 3. All right, now the flag. I found that most students have no idea what this flag, which you see very prevalently around town, stands for. This flag, of course, has 3 quadrants. The fleur de lis represent the France and the French influence on the Cajun people. The red section with the castle is Spain and the Spanish influence. And the star is Our Lady of the Assumption, Mary, assumed body and soul into heaven. So that wasn't too inspiring. But hey, you got to learn it sometime. High scored is Sam. Where's Sam? You're Sam. Good job, Sam, with 7. Runners up with 6. Wait, I'm sorry, there's an 8 down here. Tobin, you got it. I caught you. Good job, Tobin. 8's a pretty good score. In my 6 or so years giving this quiz, I've had, I think, 2 students score perfectly. So It's pretty hard. That being, going back to the flag real quick. That that flag that we're all familiar with, whatever you want to call it, the Acadian flag or the Cajun flag, that is a modern representation. An artist drew that up, I don't know, 60 or so years ago. This flag is the flag that the Cajuns actually sailed down under. And they took the French flag, which is their original homeland, and they slapped the gold star on top of it. That gold star, for them, represented Our Lady of the Assumption. So Mary, as I already said, body and soul went up to heaven. They turned to her and her holiness and her grace and her tight, close relationship with God and asked her to help them, lead them, guide them all the way down here to Acadiana, anywhere off the Bayou Teche, really. So that's some state knowledge and some Cajun knowledge that you should be proud of. But I wanted to go through all those to show you how many signs we have, how many symbols we have, and this is a real question that I want you to answer. What do those signs do for us? Why do we have them? Why do we use them? What do they do for us? Toby. Very good. So one element has to do with the past. Remind us of who we are, where we come from. If you understand that, you can better understand where you're going in life. That's why you take a history class. Very good. Very good, Tobin. Anything else? What it does for you? Raise your hand if you own a car or you drive pretty much your own car. Keep your hand raised if there is any level of bumper sticker on that car. Do you have a bumper? For those of you that have your own car, do you have any level of bumper sticker or anything stuck to your car visible for other drivers to see? Nobody? No bumper stickers, no TC signs, no. Okay. Well, that didn't work. Anybody have a poster up in the room? Any art of any level on your walls in your room? Maybe posters weren't a thing in the 90s. Oh, I'm really striking out with y'all. Okay. Where else do y'all use signs and symbols? Raise your hand if you have a social media account. Raise your hand if keep that hand raised if on that social media account you have a profile picture. Okay, raise your hand if you're really proud of your profile picture. Okay, why? Thomas Moore, I'm picking on you. I know you. What does your profile picture say about you? Why did you select it? It's a picture of you doing what? You chilling? You chilling? So if I stalked you online, I'm gonna see a picture of Thomas Moore like this. It's just you. Are you smiling in the picture? Well, there you go. You have a sign that says, I like to be happy. I'm a happy person. Anybody else have something active in their profile picture? And doing anything, holding it. Who are you with in your profile pictures? Tell me, somebody's got to have somebody else in their profile picture. You're at the beach. Why? Because you love the beach, right? And you want people to know that this is me in my happy place. This is my element. As I saw one student had, I'm back in my element. Yeah. All right, you get the point. We're trying to convey who we are. My profile picture, I got my wife and my 2 boys. I could very well have a profile picture of me doing something religious. That's a part of me, but I want to express that to the world. This is who I am. If you want to know John Paoletti, you got to know Chantel Paoletti, Isaac Paoletti, and Damian Paoletti, because that's my element. That's my daily element. That's where I live. Okay, so we have these signs, these profile pictures. See, I hung in there. You don't have posters or bumper stickers, but we all use signs to represent who we are. They convey who we are. Okay? That being said, why do we do that? Why do we need to do that is actually the main question. Why do we use these signs and symbols? I'm looking for my pen. My real Promethean pen. I lose it all the time. Thank you very much, Samuel. Why do we have these signs and symbols? Why do we, in fact, need them to convey who we are? The answer to that question in your first note of the year is because we are both body and we are soul. We are body and soul. We are physical and spiritual. Okay? And that means that if you want to convey the spiritual state of your soul, if you want to convey the fact that the beach means a lot to you and that's where your soul comes alive, then you put a picture of yourself on the beach. That it conveys who we are. We need physical pictures. We need physical signs, symbols, bumper stickers, you name it, to convey messages, to live in community, etc., etc. We need what is both physical and spiritual. This reality, which might seem obvious to you, is different. All these obvious things that I'm going to say today, by the way, are all leading to a point. Is in contrast with what other creatures? What creatures did God create that do not have body and soul? Animals. Good try, Tobin. That's what most students say. But if you have a dog or a cat, that dog cat has the fur, has the muscles, has the bones, has a body. And so you're saying, well, it doesn't have a soul. I'm going to attempt to debunk that. I will actually teach you come morality in January and February that animals do have souls. Okay? Because think about it. You got your animal, which Mr. Peo says is body and soul, whether it be your fish or your dog. Let's say that dog dies. You still have the body. What's the difference between before death and after death? The soul is gone. That's the only explanation for why things die, because they have a soul. If it can die, it has a soul. So animals have souls. Plants have souls. Okay. That grass you walk on has a soul. It doesn't have much of a soul. It's kind of a weak soul. And that leads me to the big point of clarification. And that is that there's three different types of souls. And we're going to cover them next semester. But your animals have souls and they have a body. They don't have the same type that we do. When your dog dies and the soul leaves that body, I can't tell you where that soul goes. I can tell you where your soul's going. It's going to meet God. Where it goes after that, I have no idea. What creatures were created without a body? There you go. Angels. Angels are pure soul, pure spirits, nothing else to them. They don't have wings. What are you talking about, Mr. Pat? All the pictures, they got wings. They appear to human beings and they take wings to show us that they're an angel, that they move, they're light, they can do a lot more than we can. The wings teach us a message, but in reality, they're just pure spirits. They're not linked to a body, nor limited to a body. It's pretty cool, right? But there is a real line separating humans that I just drew there, humans and angels. If you're created human, you are created. God always knew that you would exist. He always knew and loved you, but he didn't create you until sperm met egg. And then your soul took form, took shape, truly existed in reality. You only exist in that body. In that little zygote that you once were, you're now this beautiful young human being. And that's great. You were never an angel. You're not an angel today. I don't care how nice you are. And you're never going to be an angel when you die. It's just the fact of the matter. You're a human being. When Jesus says that when we die and we're in heaven, we're going to be more like the angels, but that doesn't mean we're an angel. We are forever human being, which means we're always linked to our body. Okay. We're good on that. Why we're different from the angels. Why it's important. We use and change colors. We use signs. Angels, if they want to learn something, they just zap each other with light. If God wants to give a message or give a task to an angel, he simply conveys that power of light to them. Kind of like a lightsaber or something. Tunes into that angel, and they just go. There's no long discussions. There's no PowerPoint presentations. No Promethean boards involved in heaven. It's just spiritual. But because you're a human being, you're stuck in this body, and we're all sinners, and we're a little fuzzy up top because of sin. We have Promethean boards and we have school. All right, and we're going to try to overcome that sin through transforming our minds. All right, so we use signs. Angels do not. Okay, I'm done with the angel category. That means that if God is going to speak to us, he is going to use elements, physical, tangible, audible elements to convey truths to us. And so I'm going to ask you to copy down this following chart in your notebook. And then you'll eventually read the passages. Resume recording. All right, so one more time. The point of this chart is simply for you to see how Jesus himself is going to use earthly elements, real elements. And by the way, just to give you a hint, some of these elements might just be words, might not be like something you feel, but just something you hear. And I want you to connect it to what change it brings about. We'll go over that next class. And it's fair game for your test 2 weeks from now. All right, so back to our messy diagram here. Oops, not that one. That's next class. All right, so the last thing to say is that if God is going to communicate to us, he's going to do it through the physical. And this is where we begin to talk about sacraments. I'm going to compare and contrast, we are going to compare and contrast sacraments with signs. Okay? In what way are sacraments and signs the same? I'll answer this one for you. They're both outward. Let me erase that. Manifestations. Outward manifestations. You can see them, feel them, touch them. They're real, evident, and apparent to you. Now, answer me this. How are they different? What do you think would make a sacrament different than just any other sign? It's more of a commitment. It could be. Depending. I guess every Catholic sacrament is a commitment. But that's another thing that I need to change. Most Catholics need to change our perception of the sacraments, because it's not about what we're committing to. It's not. It's about what God is giving us. And what does God give us in the sacraments? Sacraments give us grace. That's the big one. a sign does not by itself convey grace. And I use the example of what the next year of your life looks like. Hopefully, in the next year, you have experienced two things: a ring ceremony from Turlings and a confirmation. In the ring ceremony, you're going to get an outward sign. You're going to get a ring, most of y'all, and that ring is going to be a sign of your status on campus, where you hope to graduate from, etc., etc. You get an outward sign, but do you get grace on that event? Probably not. It's possible, but it's not within the ring ceremony to infuse you with the special grace. You could receive some, theoretically. But every time you show up to your confirmation, which of course is just a one-time thing, when you show up to your confirmation, you have some openness and you have an awareness and you get oil and you get words and a hand laid upon you, you get grace every time. And that changes you. Okay? So that's the big difference between a sign and a sacrament. It's that the sacrament gives you grace. That's what the sacrament's all about. I'm going to close the lesson by giving you the definition of a sacrament, which I've already said, but this is the definition you're going to see on your vocab quiz for y'all. It's Wednesday. A sacrament is an outward sign of an inward grace. A sacrament is an outward sign of an inward grace. Sacrament is an outward sign of an inward grace. It conveys something to you. You can see it on the outside, and that's how God is speaking to your soul. That's the power and importance of the sacrament. Don't forget to read those Bible passages, fill out that chart, and I will see you Monday.